Hello, everyone. You're watching Newcastle United Life and Times YouTube channel. My name's Rob Britt, and on today's show, we have Paul and Len, and we're going to discuss the 2-2 each result yesterday against Wolves, and we'll quickly look on Wednesday night's game against Manchester United in the Carabao Cup. So we went down to Molineux yesterday, and it was 2s each. For me, I suppose you've got to accept the result at the end of the day, but I was disappointed the fact that we led twice and we still come away from the game with a draw. Paul, what was your take on the game?
That was a brief one, Rob. Anyway, I'll try to be a bit more, thorough than that.
Well, no, listen. I just use you. Look, I do the intro and you just take it away. Do you know what I mean? So I just listen. I like listening.
Well, I can't add any more than that, Rob.
I'm sure you can.
Right. Anyway, I was watching the match last night. Before that match, I seen the first 11 looked quite strong, but the bench I think had two goalkeepers and 5 fullbacks on it. So that's telling the story at the minute. What's going on with the injuries, especially up front. We started the game. I think Longstaff had a good chance when he hit it just wide. They were quite tricky on the break. They had 2 or 3 quite good forwards who were quite nitty. I thought Trippier possibly his worst game in a while. Last night I thought he was very sloppy in possession, giving the ball away quite a bit. But by his high standards, I suppose it was going to drop sometime, wasn't it? And I think we had another couple of chances. Oh, where's he gone? What's happening?
He's had enough. Paul, he's had enough.
Oh, is that it?
No, I'm just shutting the window a little bit.
I thought that was the end of the show. Right, okay, we'll keep going.
Got a pizza man at the window.
Paul,
There's a pizza delivery man at the window.
Oh, is it your window? Oh, right, okay. Normally they knock on your door. Longstaff had the chance. They had a couple of good chances, and then obviously the goal from Wilson, I think, was just a ball in from Gordon, and the goalkeeper dropped it. Wilson had a couple of stabs at it, and then he was a good finish, actually, when he put it in. And then, obviously, they got the goal. That's the first goal we've conceded from a set-piece all season, isn't it?
Yeah, I heard that, yeah.
But Trippier, he was like the right side of the man, and then he turned his back on the ball for a split second for some reason, which you can't do, and he got ahead of him, and obviously they got the equaliser. And then we got that penalty just on half time. When I first seen it, I thought, oh, that's blatant. But then the more you look at it, I think he just I think if he had went to the monitor, I think he probably would have disallowed it, wouldn't he, to be honest with you? He seemed to just kick the ground. But we're going to take it. He give it straight away, the ref. And then obviously it's not is it an obvious error? Probably. So maybe they should ask him to go to the monitor. But then the second half, you could see we're getting a little bit leggy. Obviously, we couldn't make many changes. And then the pressure tool, I think Neto, who I thought was brilliant throughout.
Yeah, he was.
He was a thorn in my side, wasn't he? And then they got that goal with that. I think they could have done better with the goal, though. There was 3 players on him, and a defender just waltzed through and put a little ball in for that Hwang or whatever he's called, and then he scored. That's a poor goal to give away. And then I thought the last 15 minutes, once Neto went off, we looked like the side that were going to score. But we just, unfortunately, didn't have much off the bench. And for some reason, he didn't want to freshen it up. So that was my top. But all in all, I think with the games we've had and the squad we had and injuries, I think it was probably a decent point, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I agree, yeah. Excellent. Paul. Len, what was your take on the game?
Well, first of all, well done, Paul. That's quite a good summary of the game. I think it was an excellent game, similar to the Dortmund game. Again, sat there, watched it all on the telly in the comfort of my own home. The rain was belting down on both matches, and I thought it was a great game of football. I think from a neutral's point of view, once again, being a good watch. Disappointed, obviously, with the 2-2 scoreline. However, I think Rob, you said at the beginning, it's a fair result. I think when you look at the game overall, I think I don't think either team deserved to lose. I think both teams did try their best and it was a good game. I think the disappointing thing, as well as the result, I think both fullbacks were poor. So not just Trippier. I think Dan Burn had a poor game, and I think the keeper had an absolute mare. I think Pope was all over the shop. I think there's twice he came out where he didn't need to.
His distribution's terrible as well, and he's got to work on that kicking.
I just don't know what he's thinking of. I mean, it happened in the previous match or the one before where he just comes running out of his box, and you think, what's he doing there? And luckily would generally get away with it, but for their second goal, which was the equaliser, that all stemmed from the ball coming in straight away. Should have caught it. Decides to punch. I do think he took his goal really well for that equaliser. I remember sitting watching that thing, and that's a really good goal. But we shouldn't have allowed that to happen. Pope should have caught the ball, and therefore they might not have got the equaliser. Going on the penalty incident, 100% not a penalty. I mean, if that's given against us, you're absolutely sick as a chip if that's given against you. And the more I watched it, the more I thought, what's Shaw doing? That's gamesmanship. That, and if that was the other way around, I'd be saying Shaw should be getting a yellow card, because he hardly got touched. He's dived. He's hoped he'd win a penalty, and he won a penalty. I suppose there's been 2 or 3 occasions where we should have had decisions given in our favour previously earlier in the season. So it's sort of, as they used to say, even before VAR, it evens itself out. But why the VAR looking at that 5 and 6 times, if not more, how they can still at the end of that decide that's a penalty kick, I really don't know. And credit to their keeper, he did get a hand on it and almost saved it. But Wilson's in such fine form. I think that's 12 or 13 penalties in a row now without missing. I think he's only missed 2 in his career. So it was a hard-earned draw. I think going into the match, all our predictions were that Newcastle United were going to win. But I think, Paul, you said again, looking at the subs, I think had we had a stronger bench and not the injuries that we've got, he probably would have made 2 or 3 substitutions and possibly would have went on and won the game. But he said afterwards, Eddie Howe said afterwards, he had nothing on the bench that he could bring on without playing people out of position. So I think it was nice to see Willock back in.
He played well, didn't he, when he came on?
He did.
Right on that left.
It sort of gives you, going on to the next 2 or 3 games where, the squad could be stretched further. It's good to know Willock's come in and he did play well. So, I think it's similar to the other night. I think there's plenty of positives to come out of it, but I was disappointed in Trippier, disappointed in Dan Burn and Pope. Well, I don't suppose he'd be playing in the next game because we were in the Carabao Cup, so he might be rested. But he needs to stop coming out unnecessarily, and his decision making's poor. So I was happy with the point at the end. You look at the league table now, and we're still doing canny, bearing in mind the start we had to the season. So all in all, probably still more positives than negatives. But with the fixture list coming up, we've got to keep it going. It keeps the winning run, the unbeaten run going to 6 games as well. So that's good.
Did you saying as well, we haven't played between 14th and 18th, home or away yet as well?
Say that again, Paul, sorry.
Haven't played the places 14th to 18th. We haven't played either of them sides, home or away yet.
Oh, right.
So,
did you think it was a penalty, Paul?
No.
I
did at the time. I did. On my first initial reaction, I thought, it's blatant. Right. But there was to be honest, there was a couple of angles where it did look like a penalty. And obviously the one where he obviously thought it was because he gave it straight away, didn't he?
Back in the era when we started watching football and whatever, the referee wouldn't have even looked at that, let alone look at it 6 times and get the wrong decision. So I don't know. You've got to look at VAR, because if you're a Wolves supporter, you could argue, well, they should have won the game 2-1, but you never know after that what course of events are going to take place or anything like that, really.
Right, that's great summary of the game, yesterday, guys. Right, so we're next back in action on Wednesday night, away to Old Trafford in the Carabao Cup, and that's being broadcast, I believe, on Sky with is it a 8:15 kick-off? I think I'm sure it is.
Soon there'll be midnight kick-offs in that one.
All right. So Man United, I mean, well, they haven't really been firing on all cylinders. They've got issues on the pitch, off the pitch, and etc. etc. Len, how do you see this one going?
Well, it's difficult to say. I think I always say with cup games, you never really know till the match is finished exactly what's going to happen, because it's always a guessing game on team selection. obviously Man United playing this afternoon, which I'm really looking forward to seeing them getting thrashed by Man City, and hopefully they will. That will put them in a bit of bad fettle going into the Wednesday night's game. But they could make 11 changes. We won't make 11 changes because we haven't got 11 players to bring in. But I think we'll make 3 or 4, and it's really, really tough game, tough to call. I'm probably a little bit less confident now with the injuries and, the lack of options that we've got. I'm probably a little bit less confident now than when the draw was made. But I still think we can go there and we'll have a decent 11 to start the game. And providing there's no injuries during the early part of the game, I still think we'll come away and go into the next round of the Cup.
This is my favourite bit, don't you?
What, cheese on toast?
No. What's your score prediction then?
Oh well, here we go. I think it's going to be 1-1, the final whistle, and I think we'll go through on penalties.
Listen, Paul, what's your take on Wednesday?
That's exactly what I was going to say. That.
No, you've upset them.
Never in the world.
You've upset them.
I was going to say 1 each in penalties. But anyway, I think, like Len says, it depends on the selection. I think we're looking at, I think he's right, Dubravka could come in. It might be a good time to put him in. I think Livramento will start for Trippier.
Yeah.
I think Hall will come in and Matt Targett will definitely play. And I don't know if he'll start Willock or not. Is it too soon to give him? Maybe he might get an hour out of him. Willock, big pitch to Old Trafford, and I don't know if he'll start him. There's not many options. Obviously, you've got people like Matt Ritchie, but you don't want to be starting them at Old Trafford against Rashford. I don't know. It depends on what side they play as well. Because he played quite a weakened side the last time, didn't he? But with it being us at home, you might play a stronger side because they want to win stuff, don't they? As we do, but I just think with the injuries, like Len said, I think I'm not as confident as I was like when the draw was made. I've got a bad feeling about it. Hopefully we'll get through on penalty. I can't say we're winning in 90 minutes. Like, I just with the strikers, the attacking options. I think you might rest Wilson and put Gordon up front, and I think you might put Joe Linton on the left. And maybe
Funny should say that, Paul. That's what I thought. I thought it might be. I think you could still put Wilson on the bench because if it's going a little bit pear-shaped, or you just think we just need that extra fresh pair of legs, Wilson would be a great player to bring on. I've got a feeling he might do that myself. And
Dummett might come in like he did against Man City.
No, possible.
I don't know if you play Shaw and Lascelles with them being the only 2 fit centre halves, more or less. Well,
depends on how close Botman is. Depends on how close Botman is, really. How close is he?
He hasn't trained yet, but I don't think he's far away from training. I think he'd be back. Could he be back for Arsenal? Maybe if he trains next week. And then I think they're waiting to see on Isak he said he's hoping to see him before the end of the international break. So is he going to be back in the next week or two? We certainly need him, especially with Murphy and Harvey Barnes being out, and Anderson and Tonali. It's like they've all come in the same kind of positions, haven't they?
If you think about it, we've probably nearly got a full team out. In one way or another.
Not far off.
I know.
Often the defenders, it's like midfield and strikers. We're missing a hell of a lot of. We must be missing about 7 or 8 now.
Yeah.
Right then.
So we'll just go there, give it a good go, and see what happens.
That's all we can do, Paul. Just go there, give it a good go. I hear what you're saying, going to penalties, but I would like to think we can do it in 90 minutes. So I'm going to go for a very tight game and a 1-0 win in Newcastle. I do think we'll have to defend well because I think they'll definitely take the game to at Old Trafford. I think so.
Well, if they'll have a lot more options on the bench, that'll be the thing. Even if they play a weak inside, they'll have 6 or 7 on the bench. It will probably change a match.
So yeah,
whereas we haven't,
Yeah. So you're going for so Len, you're going for penalty shootout. We'll go through. Yeah.
Yeah.
Paul, are you going with that?
Yeah, I was going to go 1 each in penalties. I think just a few weeks ago I would have said we would have comfortably beat them, but nah, I've just got me doubts now. I think it's just I was watching that Wolves game yesterday before the last 15 minutes and they looked very leggy.
They did.
I mean, the rain wouldn't have helped. Like the pitch, would have been. Plus the Dortmund game, that was a wet night as well, wasn't it? It's so they'll just have to regroup and see what happens next week.
Yep. Yeah. Right. Well, that's your fix for the day then, folks, and we'll be back. When do you want to do the Man United reaction show then? Thursday?
Yeah.
Well,
Thursday.
If we beat them, I want it about a minute after the final whistle.
Listen, I would love to do that. I really would, but unfortunately, no. I'll be going straight to bed, unfortunately. So, right, great having you on, guys, and hopefully the next show we've got something to celebrate. Next round of the Carabao Cup. So, everyone, on behalf of myself, Paul and Len, take care of yourselves, and we'll see you all soon. Bye bye now.
Cheers.